very graphic, very sad. After the hard work of rescaping this, fixing the issues it had, she passed. This is pretty much one of the hardships that we have as aquarium owners. We sometimes have fish loss that we can't explain why the fish died, what happened, what took place. Don't mind the shininess, but we can't explain. So I tested the water. Everything came out perfect, right where it needed to be. So I don't really know what caused her death. I have some thoughts. She kind of was bloated a little bit. I haven't fed her. Well, as a matter of fact, maybe about I will say a month ago, she was showing signs of bloatiness. But that's because I was feeding bloodworms every 3 days and some flakes once a day, and then I let them fast, which worked for years for me and all my fish. But I started to notice the bloatiness because she was greedy. She's the only fish in that tank, so she ate majority of the food besides the plecos that was housed in there with her before the snails got in there. So I cut back on the bloodworms, and I slowed down on the flakes, and I was only feeding her pebbles, about 4 to 8 of them a day, and then that slowed down until she was kind of looking like normal again. I started feeding her normal, and then the bloatiness came back. So what I thought it was is maybe that she was egg bound. So betas, female beta fish, they get egg bound, and they hold the eggs whether they're in the presence of a male or not. And people have different experience with this. A lot of people will say, no, that's not how it works. Only in the presence of a male, and if they're both ready to mate, or if she's showing signs of mating, or if she doesn't fear the male and run from him, that means that she's ready for mating. But I think it's different because I had multiple betas, and almost all my betas were a little different than others. So I thought maybe she was egg bound. I have read in the past, if a female's egg bound and she doesn't have a male to mate with, meaning he's not making a bubble nest, and she can't spit out the eggs or lay the eggs, and he can't put them in the nest, eventually she would die. But I also read that was false, and that they can just lay the eggs regardless of the male or not. They just won't be fertilized. So I honestly don't really know what killed her. Like I said, I tested the water. The pH was fine. No ammonia. I can actually show you what the ammonia looked like. This is the ammonia right here. Pretty much nothing. Show you what the pH looked like. Perfect pH. Nitrates was fine. Everything was fine in the tank. So I don't know what caused her death, to be honest. So what I am going to do, I'm going to be monitoring the tank because there's 4 cory cats in here and 5 neon tetras. I see 4 neon tetras. I haven't seen the 5th one, but oh, now I see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, all 5 neon tetras are fine. So with getting new fish, because the 4 cory cats and the 5 neon tetras are new to this tank. They only been here about 3 days, I will say. 3 days to a week at most. You have a 73% chance of losing new fish within 1 week. Even if the pet store had them for a week and 2 weeks, you still have a 73% chance of your fish dying being put into your tank. Especially neon tetras. They're like very sensitive fish. I normally never get neon tetras because I'm never able to keep them more than 4 weeks alive. They die very quick. They struggle with big water changes and things like that. You have to have a lot of beneficial bacteria and a very great pH, like constantly, and you can't throw it off. You lose them very quick. So unfortunately, we lost Violet We lost her. So I want you guys to tell me, what should I do with this tank? Should I just convert this into just neon tetras and grab a couple more with the 4 Cory cats and maybe a Briscoe-Nose plecos, or stay away from the plecoses? Maybe some sort of other type of tetra, or some barbs, cherry barbs or something like that. Let me know. Or should I just hold off on getting fish altogether until I move and able to get everything settled in? That's all. That's all I wanted to show you guys. Thank you for watching. Give you one more look. Now you're probably like, are you going to leave that in there and just let the snails eat her? No. I actually can't do anything right now because I have oil on my hands, and the oil just doesn't come off. I keep washing and washing. So she's going to be in there until I can make sure that my hands are oil free and they doesn't harm the water in any way. Now I do have clamps, nets, and things like that I can stick in there and pull, but I just don't want my fingers or anything from my hands touching the water at all, so that the other fish are fine, the snails are fine, and I don't contaminate the water in any way. This is part of the cycle. Fish die in the wild, and other fish will pick at it. Snails will pick at it. Things that the eye can't see will eat at that fish. The fish will feed the water, the plants, and everything else. So the fish being in there is not harming the tank in any way. Now, what can be harming if it's some sort of parasite or something like that, which I doubt that that's what it is, because the tank pretty much recycled. The soil was, the sand was cleaned out. New filtration was put in. I just used beneficial bacteria that was already created from within other tanks to start the tank all over. Many YouTubers do that. Joey from DIY King, he does that with almost all of his tanks. He used beneficial bacteria that was already successful in a tank, and he just puts it in another tank. Paul Cafaro had done it. Nick Bingo. A lot of people do that. Do I normally do that? No, I usually will go by it the old-fashioned way and just let the tank cycle normally. I don't do the fish cycle or anything like that. But, hey, it happens. Can this happen to my other beta? It's a possibility. This is the tank here. I did end up putting her back in, and you're probably wondering why. I used beneficial bacteria from other tanks. I put it in here. Gave it a couple days, about a day or two, and tested the water. To be honest, it was 24 hours. Yeah, that was a lie. It was 24 hours. I put everything in. I got a video about it. You can go check it out, where I put the soil and the new filter in there and cycle the water. I put beneficial bacteria in the tank, and I put some prime in there. Gave it 24 hours, tested it, it checked out great. Waited another, I think, 15 hours and tested it again. Same result. I didn't want to keep her in that, and I didn't want to go start a whole different tank just to have her in. So, started a tank. Now, can she die from this? It's a possibility, you know. Things happen. I have another issue with this tank, and I will be talking about it in an upcoming video, and you're probably seeing it right now.